Welcome to today's Daily Show, joined by another guest here in the studio via Skype. Today it's the turn of Peter Graves from ITC Tooling. Peter, welcome to the show today. How are things for you at ITC in Tamworth?
Oh, thank you, Paul. Yeah, they're not too bad, thanks. We're open, ready for business.
Good.
It's
That's
difficult for everybody at the moment, but we're doing our best.
Yeah, and we'll touch on these times shortly. But before we do that, for our audience, we do a lot of videos and a lot of work with ITC. But it'd be good for those that haven't seen before if you could maybe give us a brief description of what your company does and delivers for UK industry.
Sure. Well, we've been going nearly 30 years now, Paul. We started in January 91, so it's makes you feel old. Excuse me. We are a distributor and manufacturer of precision cutting tools. We started as just a distributor for some American brands. We became the Hanita agent. Over time, the brands that we were selling were taken over by Kennametal and Whittier, and hence we're now the Whittier agent in the UK as well. But we also are one of the biggest manufacturers of solid carbide tooling in the UK. We had our first CNC about 20 years ago, and we've bought them regularly since and replaced them as well. We have over 30 now.
Well, there's no like state-of-the-art facility is one of the things I was going to say. I mean, that is there's not many like you, is there, here in the UK?
No, there aren't. No, and we're proud of it. And you know, the goods we export, we put made in the UK. It's something to be proud of, and people around the world do like stuff made in the UK. Unfortunately, there's not enough of it.
I mean, well, let's hope that improves in time. The turnaround of your product as well. You've been here in the UK and the market that you service, so that would give you an advantage, wouldn't it? Quick to respond, quick to be able to adapt.
I would hope so. And certainly at the moment, the supply chains from abroad obviously are stretched. And we've made it clear to the marketplace that we're here and ready for business. We can turn around. In fact, this week we did turn a special batch of tools around for a customer who were making ventilator parts. We did it overnight. So literally, we can do it as quick as that.
That's really good to hear, Peter, especially in these times. We talk about the state-of-the-art facility that they have. It really is tremendous and something else. But you're also carrying around about 100,000 products in stock as well. So you're not just making to quick turnarounds. You've got them there ready for delivery.
In fact, that's probably a conservative estimate now. It's over £3 million worth of stock, and that's split between our own product that we make here and Whittier products, which we, as I say, we're the agent for, which is solid carbide, and these days increasingly indexable as well. And also, of course, we're the agent for Big Kaiser in the UK, and we keep stock of their product here.
I suppose with such a diverse range of products, it means that you do get to dabble in all kinds of industries as well, do you? Is that good for you, the fact that maybe when one's down a bit, one might come up and that sort of pattern occurs?
I guess so. I mean, our major industry sector is aerospace, I guess. Rolls-Royce Aero is a big part of that. And as you say, at the moment, the aerospace isn't quite so good. Another big part is Formula One. Unfortunately, that's not very good either. But at the moment, the medical industry is obviously resurgent, and we've got over 50 customers that we know of who are currently making parts for either ventilators or screens for supermarkets, all this sort of stuff. And we're supplying, obviously, keeping them going on those products.
Now let's get into this as well. Now then, how are you coping with the current climate, Peter? Your staff, your production, what's changed?
Well, because turnover is down, and that's throughout the industry, and in every industry. Obviously, sales are not at the level we'd like them to be, so we've had to split our shop floor team into 4 groups and have them in on a rotation. And any staff that aren't essential are basically not working. So we've got a small team in the sales office, we've got one in the production office. So everything's slimmed down. We're working very, very slimly, and it's working well. We're getting actually a surprising amount of tools out.
Well, this is my point. Some of the engineers we've been talking to and manufacturers over the past couple of weeks, there does seem to be a bit of a trend with the ones that do have, let's say, for example, the state-of-the-art facilities, automation, all of those things that they can lean on in difficult times. Has that helped you with the technology that you have, that you can keep manufacturing to the demand of, let's say, now the medical sector?
Yeah. I mean, most of the machines we've got loaders, and well, in fact, we had a guy this week on our shop floor whose father was tested. He was in hospital and he was found to be positive, so we had to send Kyle home. But he'd set the machine up, the particular machine he was working on, and it finished running this morning. That was on Wednesday. So yeah, we can because of the automation, we can still be producing tools. Having said that, for some stuff for the medical, where it's maybe a small batch, obviously there's a bit more manual intervention there, and you need somebody in. And if we need a particular person in to do a particular job, then they're there to be called upon.
I mean, you actually said to me before this that you've had a few guys yourself. I mean, it's been, I know the virus is obviously, the infection rate is the cases are increasing, but I'm not often coming into, well, certainly into contact, but hearing of people that have actually had it. But you believe 5 or 6 of your guys have had this virus a few weeks ago?
More than that, actually. I think of our office staff, we've had 5, I think, and on the shop floor we've had a couple, and a couple of the salesmen. So I think we've had at least 10 people. I mean, and nobody's been tested. We're assuming it's COVID.
But it sounds like from your comments, it's too much of a coincidence, should we say? Peter, UK industry is suffering, but is trying to bounce back where it can. Hopefully, these things that we're talking about these days aren't going to go on for too long. What sort of support do you think we could do within the industry, maybe from the higher echelons such as the government? What could be done differently, in your opinion? Do you think?
Well, I know they've said that they'll make government guaranteed loans, which the banks kick back a bit about, but it's not just loans. I mean, in our case, we're staying open and doing lots of work for the medical industry. That may not be enough to actually pay the overheads that we're incurring to do it because of the volume of it, but it's important. Obviously, we want to do our bit. So I think we could do with some reassurance that we'll be supported at the end of this if we stay open just to support the medical industry. We're all part of the supply chain. We're all working to do what we can, but I could do with a bit more reassurance from government that they'll support us.
And I think a lot would certainly agree with your sentiment there. Peter, when we come out of this situation, which we will, what's the future for ITC? Where were you heading before this? Let's call it this blip. What's next for the business?
Well, we've got more machines on order. Actually, we've sort of temporarily put them on hold until we get through this. But as you know, we've bought machines steadily over the years. We've doubled our size in the last few years. So we bought a unit next door. We've nearly filled that up. We've got room for another half dozen machines, perhaps. But we intend to carry on expanding once we get over this blip. And we're taking on more and more staff. I mean, we see ourselves as not just a tooling supplier, but a solution supplier. We're helping customers to improve their processes, to make their parts cheaper. And I know our tools aren't necessarily always the cheapest. For example, looking at the big Kaiser tool holders and boring heads, etc. They're definitely not the cheapest on the market, but in our view, they definitely are the best. And by buying something that's really good and really high quality and really effective, you can make things cheaper. And that's something we're constantly trying to drive through to people, because in all walks of life, there's foreign cheap products, and increasingly there's Chinese tooling coming in, etc., etc. And it's cheap, and in a lot of cases it's probably okay. But we just feel that if you've got a really good product and you've got really good people, which we have, I mean, our staff are fantastic and the engineers we've got on the road are fantastic, that you really can help people to improve their processes.
And I think that is a terrific way to end this interview, Peter. Thank you very much for joining us today. Good luck in the coming times, and I'm sure we will get the support that we need in industry, and I'm sure you'll come through this a bigger and better company. Thanks for joining us. There you have it. Peter Graves from ITC Tooling. As he quite rightly said at the end there, a solution provider. So often engineers look maybe to save pounds when it comes to buying products, but they don't actually look how much they could save by investing in quality products and reducing those cycle times and improving tool wear, as another example. Join us again tomorrow, same time, where we'll be joined by another guest.